Right now, over 1 million ostriches are being raised across 6 continents, most never flying, never migrating, never living as nature intended. Their feathers once adorned royal crowns. Their leather now lines luxury car seats. Their meat feeds health-conscious diners from Texas to Tokyo. But behind this flightless giant is a hidden industry, born from extinction, reborn as a business, and now racing to stay relevant in a changing world. Today, we're going inside the global ostrich farming industry, where fashion, food, and survival collide. Ostriches have captivated humans for millennia. Ancient Egyptians painted them in tombs. Roman emperors kept them as exotic pets. But it was in the 1800s that their fate took a dramatic turn. In South Africa's Karoo desert, wild ostriches were hunted relentlessly, not for meat, but for their luxurious white plumes. At the height of the feather boom, ostrich feathers were more valuable than diamonds, adorning the hats of Victorian elites and filling the vaults of European banks. By the early 1900s, wild populations had collapsed. In some regions, fewer than 100 birds remained. Then came the World Wars, and fashion changed overnight. Shorter hairstyles, simpler hats, and wartime austerity made feathers obsolete. Overnight, the ostrich industry collapsed. Farmers were left with herds of giant, flightless birds and no market. But ostriches are resilient, and so are the people who raise them. In the 1970s, a new vision emerged: ostrich as a multi-use animal. Leather, tough, durable, with a distinctive quill pattern. Meat, lean, high in iron and protein, tasting like grass-fed beef feathers, revived for niche fashion, dusters, and decor eggs, sold as art or hatched for more birds. South Africa led the revival, creating the world's first regulated ostrich farming system. The US, Israel, and Australia soon followed. Today, over 1 million ostriches are farmed globally, with South Africa still producing 70% of the world's supply. Yet unlike chickens or cattle, ostriches have never been fully domesticated. They're still wild at heart, easily stressed, fiercely territorial, and prone to panic. A single spooked bird can trigger a stampede that kills dozens. This tension defines modern ostrich farming. It's an attempt to harness a wild animal for human benefit without breaking its spirit. And as demand for sustainable protein and exotic leather grows, the ostrich may yet prove that even the most ancient creatures can find a place in our modern world. Raising ostriches is unlike any other livestock operation. These are not docile cows or predictable chickens. They're flightless dinosaurs with attitude, and farming them demands respect, space, and patience. It begins with breeding. Ostriches reach sexual maturity at 2 to 3 years old. A single dominant male mates with 2 to 6 females in a shared pen, a system that mimics their natural harem structure. During mating season, males perform elaborate dances, flapping wings, booming calls, and flashing bright red necks. Females lay 10 to 15 eggs per clutch in a communal nest, a shallow pit they scrape in the dirt. Each egg weighs 3 pounds, equal to 24 chicken eggs, and has a shell so thick it can support a human's weight. After 42 days of incubation, either natural or in climate-controlled hatchers, fluffy gray chicks emerge. For the first 3 months, they're kept in temperature-controlled brooder pens. Ostriches are extremely vulnerable to cold and rain as chicks. Mortality can reach 30% without careful management. At 4 to 6 months, they move to growing pens, large, open-air enclosures with shade, dust baths, and room to run. Ostriches need space, at least 100 square feet per bird, or they become aggressive. They're fed a diet of alfalfa, grain, and specialized pellets high in calcium for bone development. By 12 to 14 months, they're ready for harvest, weighing 220 to 280 pounds, with long legs, lean muscle, and smooth, unblemished skin. Slaughter is carefully managed. Because ostriches panic easily, low-stress handling is critical. They're moved quietly into a stun box, rendered unconscious, then bled. The entire process takes minutes. From there, every part is used. Skin, removed in one piece, salted, and shipped to tanneries in Italy or South Africa. After tanning, it becomes luxury boots, handbags, and watch straps, prized for its durability and unique quill pattern. Meat, deep red, lean, and rich in iron. Fillets, sausages, and ground meat are sold to high-end grocers and restaurants. Feathers, sorted by size and color. White plumes go to fashion, black go to dusters. Eggs, empty shells are polished and sold as art or lamps. Oil, rendered from fat, used in cosmetics for its moisturizing properties. But here's what most don't realize. Ostrich farming is incredibly labor-intensive. There are no high-speed processing lines. Skins must be handled by hand to avoid scratches. Meat is butchered individually. And because ostriches are so large, one mistake can ruin thousands of dollars worth of product. So while the bird is efficient, converting feed to meat better than beef, the system relies on skill, not scale. And that's why, In a world of industrialized meat, the ostrich remains a niche, but noble, exception. Ostrich farming may seem old world, dusty pens, hand-fed birds, artisanal butchering, but beneath the surface, quiet innovation is reshaping how these ancient birds are raised, tracked, and marketed. In hatcheries, AI-powered incubation systems now monitor temperature, humidity, and egg rotation with precision, boosting hatch rates from 60% to over 85%. Infrared cameras track chick movement in brooder pens, alerting farmers to cold spots or overcrowding, critical for reducing early mortality. Genetic selection is advancing fast. Through non-GMO genomic breeding, farms are developing lines that are calmer, less prone to stampedes, faster growing, reaching market weight in 10 months instead of 14, higher yielding, larger skins, more breast meat. In South Africa, the Ostrich Business Chamber maintains a national DNA database to prevent inbreeding and preserve genetic diversity, ensuring the industry doesn't collapse from its own success. Fencing and handling have also evolved. Traditional wire fences are being replaced with flexible polymer barriers that absorb impact, preventing leg fractures during panic runs. Curved chutes and non-slip flooring reduce stress during transport. Some farms even use calming music in growing pens, a practice shown to lower heart rates and improve feed conversion. But the biggest leap is in traceability and branding. Luxury brands like Prada and Louis Vuitton now demand full-chain transparency for ostrich leather. Each bird is tagged at hatch, its diet, health, and harvest date logged in cloud-based systems. By scanning a QR code on a handbag, buyers can see the farm, the tannery, even the bird's life story. Meanwhile, meat producers are pioneering vacuum-sealed, flash-frozen ostrich steaks that ship globally, turning a regional product into a worldwide superfood. Startups in Texas and Israel are even developing ostrich jerky and protein bars for the health market. And in conservation, satellite tracking is being tested on semi-wild herds in Namibia, monitoring migration patterns and predator interactions to improve farm layouts. Yet challenges remain. There's no automated processing for ostriches. Their size and anatomy defy standard poultry or beef lines. Vaccines are limited, as Big AG ignores niche livestock, and consumer awareness is low. Many still think ostriches are endangered. They're not. Farmed populations are stable. Still, the direction is clear. Ostrich farming isn't chasing industrial scale. It's building a premium, transparent, human-scale model where quality beats quantity. Because in a world of mass production, sometimes the most radical thing is to stay small and stay wild at heart. Ostriches are often hailed as the most sustainable red meat on the planet, and the numbers back it up. Compared to beef, ostrich meat produces 90% less greenhouse gas per pound. It uses 1/3 the water and half the land. And because ostriches are cold-tolerant, hardy, and thrive on marginal land, they don't compete with food crops for prime farmland. Their feed efficiency is remarkable. 3.5 pounds of feed to produce 1 pound of meat. Beef requires 6 to 10. They eat alfalfa, hay, and forage grasses, not soy or corn tied to deforestation. Their manure is dry, low odor, and rich in nitrogen, ideal for composting. In South Africa's arid Karoo region, ostriches are perfectly adapted. They survive on sparse vegetation and require minimal water, making them a climate-resilient livestock as droughts intensify. But not all ostrich farming is equal. In high-welfare, pasture-based systems, birds roam large enclosures, mimic natural behaviors, and live stress-free lives. These farms often integrate rotational grazing, improving soil health and biodiversity. In industrial setups, though rare due to ostriches' sensitivity, overstocking can lead to aggression, injury, and disease. And while ostriches don't need grain, some farms still use supplemental feeds sourced from unsustainable supply chains. Then there's leather production. Tanning ostrich skin traditionally uses chrome-based chemicals, which can pollute water if not managed properly. But in South Africa and Europe, eco-tanneries are shifting to vegetable-based or chrome-free processes, cutting environmental harm. Yet the biggest sustainability advantage is waste reduction. Unlike beef or pork, nearly 100% of the ostrich is used. Meat for food, skin for luxury goods, feathers for fashion, and cleaning fat for cosmetics, bones for broth, or pet treats, eggs for art or hatching. This zero-waste ethos makes ostrich farming a model of circularity. But the real ecological benefit may be land use. Ostriches thrive on non-arable land, dry, rocky, or sandy soils where cattle struggle. In degraded regions, They offer a way to produce protein without clearing forests or draining aquifers. So the question isn't, is ostrich sustainable? It's, can this model scale without losing its integrity? Because when raised with respect, ostriches don't just feed us. They prove that even the most ancient creatures can help heal the planet. And in a world running out of room, water, and time, that might be their greatest legacy. Ostriches are more than livestock. They're economic lifelines, cultural icons, and symbols of resilience in some of the world's harshest landscapes. In South Africa's Karoo region, ostrich farming is woven into the fabric of rural life. After the feather crash of the 1910s, entire towns like Oudtshoorn, once called the ostrich capital of the world, faced collapse. But the 1970s revival turned ostriches into a multi-billion rand industry, supporting thousands of jobs, from hatchery workers to leather artisans. Today, the ostrich route draws tourists to farms, museums, and leather boutiques, blending heritage with commerce. For Black South African farmers, ostriches represent economic empowerment. Government-backed programs help smallholders enter the market, bypassing traditional cattle barriers that require vast land and capital. An ostrich farm can start with just 10 birds on 5 acres, making it accessible where other livestock aren't. In the U.S., ostrich farming surged in the 1990s as a get-rich-quick scheme, then crashed when hype faded. But a core of passionate ranchers in Texas, Arizona, and California kept it alive, focusing on lean meat for health markets. For them, ostriches are a sustainable alternative to beef, ideal for drought-prone states. Culturally, the ostrich straddles myth and reality. In ancient Egypt, it symbolized truth and justice. Its feather weighed against the heart in the afterlife. And indigenous San culture, it's a trickster and teacher. And modern fashion, its leather signifies luxury with edge, worn by rock stars and CEOs alike. Yet the industry remains fragile. Ostriches can't be mass-produced like chickens. A single stampede can wipe out a year's investment. Markets fluctuate with fashion trends. When Prada features ostrich boots, prices soar. When they don't, farmers struggle. And while meat is gaining traction, praised by keto and paleo communities for its iron-rich, low-fat profile, most Americans still see ostrich as exotic, not every day. But that's changing. High-end chefs are featuring ostrich filet mignon. Athletes are using its protein for recovery. And eco-conscious buyers are choosing ostrich leather over calf, knowing it comes from a bird that thrives on marginal land. So when you buy ostrich, you're not just choosing a product. You're supporting a different kind of farming. One that values space over scale, wildness over domestication, resilience over uniformity. Because in a world of industrial sameness, the ostrich stands tall, unbowed, unbroken, and utterly unique. The future of ostrich farming is not about domination, it's about niche resilience. Unlike chicken or beef, ostrich will never feed the masses. But in a world craving sustainable protein, ethical luxury, and climate-adapted agriculture, it may yet carve a vital role. On one path, premium, traceable, and purpose-driven, South Africa is doubling down on certified humane ostrich programs, where birds roam large paddocks, skins are eco-tanned, and meat is antibiotic-free. Luxury brands like Hermès and Bottega Veneta are quietly sourcing ostrich leather, valuing its rarity and story over mass appeal. In the U.S., regenerative ostrich ranches are pairing birds with sheep and cattle to restore degraded rangelands. On another front, food innovation. Startups are turning ostrich into jerky, sausages, protein powders, and even pet food, tapping into health and sustainability trends. In Israel, researchers are developing ostrich-based collagen for medical use. And as lab-grown meat advances, some wonder, could cultivated ostrich, with its lean profile and low footprint, become the ultimate clean protein? It's early, but the science is being watched. Policy is shifting too. The EU's deforestation regulations favor meats that don't require soy or cleared land, giving ostrich a natural edge. In drought-prone U.S. states, agricultural grants now support non-traditional livestock like ostriches as climate adaptation tools. And carbon credit programs are beginning to reward farms that use marginal land productively without degrading it. But the biggest opportunity may be cultural. As consumers move away from industrial meat, they're seeking meaningful alternatives. Animals raised with space, respect, and transparency. Ostrich offers that narrative. Ancient, efficient, and wild at heart. Yet challenges remain. Processing infrastructure is limited. Most farms must ship birds hundreds of miles to specialized plants. Consumer education is needed. Many still confuse ostrich with endangered wildlife. And scaling without sacrificing welfare is a constant tightrope. Still, The ostrich's greatest strength is its adaptability. It survived the feather crash. It outlasted the 1990s hype bubble. Now, in the climate era, it may find its true purpose not as a curiosity, but as a keystone of resilient food systems. Because sometimes, the future doesn't belong to the fastest or the biggest. It belongs to the ones who've already learned to thrive on the edge. And the ostrich, it's been there all along. If this journey through the world of ostrich farming changed how you see that leather boot, lean steak, or giant egg, you're not alone. Ostriches aren't just oddities. They're survivors, adapters, and for many communities, a quiet symbol of resilience in a changing world. So we're curious, would you try ostrich meat for its health benefits? Would you choose ostrich leather knowing it thrives on land cattle can't use? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. We read every one. If this opened your eyes, do us a quick favor. Hit like, share this with someone who loves sustainable food, ethical fashion, or unexpected animal stories, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're on a mission to uncover how our world is really made, with honesty, depth, and respect. Next time, we explore the quiet powerhouse of the dairy world, goats raised for milk. From artisanal cheese caves to urban microdairies, we'll reveal how goat milk became a global phenomenon, and why it might be the future of dairy. Stay curious, choose wisely, and we'll see you in the next one.